welcome to Readers of the Lost Art. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Bobby. Today we are talking about Neanderthal Marries Human, book 1.5 in the Knitting in the City series. But first, we have a story for you. But first, before the story, we would just like to gently remind you that we do have a Patreon that is free, and the thing that is on the Patreon that is free is a newsletter.
And we do
that comes out every Thursday.
Pretty good job of posting those every Thursday.
I have written all of mine. I would just like to say
I have technically written newsletter 13, but we'll release it as a secret special content later.
Yeah.
It will be like 1.5, which was
the 1.5 newsletter. It's on theme.
Yeah, exactly right.
Listen, given our propensity for being cursed, I feel like skipping newsletter 13 was probably a good call.
I think so,
just
too.
in case.
Yeah.
Because
you can't be too careful with these things.
Last week we also had a Friday the 13th.
Which was pretty
I saw on Twitter that somebody was like, do we just not care about Friday the 13th anymore? What's going on? And people were like, we're living in a nightmare all the time. Friday the 13th does not scare us anymore.
It doesn't have power over us.
Yeah.
Yeah, so read our free newsletter, which we mostly write all the time.
We only skipped 1 week, so that's a pretty good track record, in my opinion.
Yeah. And when that 13.5, we'll just call it 13.5, comes out on a random day, it's going to be unrelated to anything. When it finally comes out, I think you're going to think it's really good. So.
Okay. So, shall we get to story time?
Yes. Let's tell the people about how we met Penny. I didn't want to bury the lead. There it is. So I've been pulling up so we went to what was it called? Oh my gosh. It had a name. Authors in Bloom.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we went to the
at Half Price Books in Dallas.
We went to the Authors in Bloom panel at Half Price Books. There were other authors on it. They all seemed very nice and pleasant. I do not remember anything about them. I was there for Penny, so I couldn't tell you what they said or who they were.
Oh, I have some memories of things that they said. I'm not here to judge anyone. Listen, you read what brings you joy. But when that one author talked about the one about the basilisk and talking about the basilisk cum, I was like, well, maybe that one's not for me. Maybe I can, because I liked her. I really enjoyed her personality. So I thought, well, maybe I'll check that one out. And I could see that the way that they had set up the tables, it was clear that there were certain authors that were just more popular than others. Yeah. And they had her in it a big space where she could have a really long line, and she did in fact have a really long line.
Huge.
I think. Unless I've got her confused with somebody else. Because I did get them confused a lot. Because they didn't really introduce them very well. You didn't get an individual introduction for any of them. And we were too far back to see if they had nameplates in front of them.
I mean, it was a very crowded event. And the way they had the chairs set up was not wide, it was long. So, a ton of people were just sitting in the back. I couldn't see, I could hear fine. I had an incredible view of Penny, so that was great.
Yeah. She was one of the only people I could consistently see.
I took very detailed notes on all of the things she said in case we wanted to really dive into any of them. So
yeah, that was because I told you, I was like, you should take notes.
And I think I wrote down almost exactly everything she said.
She was very busy. She was tapping away the whole time, and I was like, I'm glad I told her to do this instead of me. So let's talk about what Penny said first before we get to the juicy stuff.
The great thing about the way I took notes is that I didn't put what she was responding to. I didn't put what
That's
questions. That's
hardly important.
Right. No,
we'll figure it out.
This is a narrative. Penny's narrative.
We'll use context clues to figure out.
She wrote her first romance as a bet, which reminds me of our mystery writer, Chesterton. Is that his name?
E.C. Bentley. Chesterton was his friend. Chesterton, I believe, is the one who bet him.
I just can't. Those two men.
She does not want to remember E.C. Bentley. She doesn't. E and GK are the same two people as far as Rachel is concerned.
She thinks that the way people act in love is absurd, and she's drawn to that absurdity and craziness.
I mean, pretty clear based on how Knitting in the City goes.
Which is so absurd. So over the top.
Yes, but I really enjoy how she's like celebrating the absurdity instead of condemning it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of people, because they're cooler than everybody else and because they're not like the other girls, they want to condemn the ridiculousness. And I like that she's like, no, this is the fun part. Let's have fun with it.
She said that she writes mostly in series, and which is obvious, you know, we knew that. That's why we love her. That's why we're here, quite frankly. We were very excited by her series and her interconnected series and like bringing other people into her series. She said she maps the town out. She has a database wiki. She knows the relationship dysfunction before she starts writing the book. So she knows like what kind of thing they have to get over. She writes her standalones very off the cuff, and they're very different from her series. So she writes her standalone, which we haven't read one of her standalones yet, so we can't compare that. But I think it's an interesting note for us to take forward.
I do. I have one of her Banana Pants because it was free like last month, I think. So I was like, I'm going to go ahead and get in on that.
I also might have got Banana Pants. Was it one that was included in like a download of 10? No, that was a different thing. I don't think I got Banana Pants. I got a different thing. Okay. Penny says that you have to ignore some realities. People want to be entertained and they want to enjoy this themselves when they're reading. And there's an element of fantasy in romance.
Yes.
So you have to ignore a lot of reality. So you do sort of come up with a fantastical, and I think we've talked about how her books have a kind of like fantasy vibe, fan fiction.
Like you know that nothing really bad could happen in the Pennyverse.
Yeah.
And that's why we love it. It's not that there isn't struggle. It's not that there's not conflict, but that you do have that security of knowing that it is all going to work out eventually. And it's going to work out in the way that is the most fun possible. And it's like, you know, comfort foods are comfort foods because you can always trust them.
Yeah.
You know? So it's the same thing. Like we can always trust that it's going to be a good time. It's going to have gentle conflict and also a lot of like zany fun. She
says you have to bring the reality back into poignant moments so you can work through reality in a healthy way. And you show how relationships can be entertaining to real people. This was someone who wasn't Penny, and I put the note in the thing, it says not Penny, and then like a colon. So you can tell where like I was. So she, like, after Penny says that, she says, you know, we're writing about the way the world could be. So we give people a sense of safety and like we got your back. And I wrote it down because I liked that, and I do feel like that, like that's how I feel when I'm reading a Penny book. Like she's got my back. She's not going to let me suffer needlessly. And I have suffered needlessly in many romance novels, ones that we have read together where I've been like, I couldn't finish it because I wanted to stop suffering. I didn't want to suffer. Okay, she said she believes her characters are universal and gives her hope that we're all just struggling through the human condition. She likes getting emails from people who say that they see themselves in her books and that it gives her hope for humanity. She also said that her Winston Brothers series, which was the one she was promoting at this event, is like Ted Lasso meets Duck Dynasty. And then she said Knitting in the City is when Harry Met Sally meets K-drama, which I love.
Didn't I say specifically, I remember talking about Harry Met Sally specifically at some point.
Yeah.
But like Harry Met Sally meets K-dramas. You know what I really wish we had thought to ask her when we talked to her? I wanted to ask her, like, what K-dramas?
Yeah.
What if she's a Boys Over Flowers stan?
That would be so crazy. But who isn't a Boys Over Flowers stan? I'm sorry, but if you dislike Boys Over Flowers, you're watching it wrong. You're just watching it wrong.
Well, not everybody knows the correct way to watch it.
I know, that's the work we should be doing, bringing Boys Over Flowers to the people.
That's why I told you we should do Boys Over Flowers, but you wanted to do Kingdom first. So we're doing Kingdom. This is a deep cut for the AT stands, by the way. That's our other podcast.
I didn't want to do Kingdom. If you've ever heard of Kingdom, The Legendary War, Bobby and I are doing a rewatch of it and a recap, slowly but surely. And it's not that I wanted it. It is that someone wrote in and asked for it. And I am, above all else, a people pleaser. So someone asked. And thus, if someone else could save us from ourselves and ask us about Boys Over Flowers, that would be great. So.
Our email address is... Actually, I don't know what the email address is.
It's
holochat@gmail.com.
No, that's our AT's podcast.
Well, do you want to talk about Boys Over Flowers on readers?
Sure.
Okay. Why not?
Well, really, you can email us anywhere. Holochat Podcast, I think, is the email. holochatpodcast@gmail for Holochat.
Okay.
And then the one for readers is Readers of the Lost Art Pod @gmail. So you can please tell us that you'd like us to watch Boys Over Flowers so that we can do that.
Rachel would like to please you. So.
And that is all. It was a short panel.
It was, it was about 45 minutes and then they asked questions.
But there were 6 authors, so like they were
Yeah.
taking turns. It wasn't all Penny. So I didn't get, that much. But then afterwards there was a signing. So we mentioned that I'm a people pleaser. And I do, when I start talking to people, when I meet people, I will start just saying whatever. Because, especially if I think it's like, if they're receptive to it.
Yeah.
And then I'll just like kind of keep going and just say whatever. Like I don't have any thoughts other than make this person you're talking to happy. So we're like in this line, in the lead up to the line. And I like was on the side where Penny was kind of like coming around the table, and I like turned to Bobby and I was like, you're gonna have to switch with me, because if she starts talking to me, I'm gonna ruin everything.
For context, if you've been listening since the beginning, you know that one of our goals, like we've got a list of goals for the into the Pennyverse, right? And one of the things on our list of goals is to make Penny aware of the podcast. Yeah. But it's like number 4 or 5, right? It's not
we
number
got a
1.
lot of stuff to get done before she knows about this podcast.
And we said to ourselves, we're going to make this a good podcast. We're going to learn how to be podcasters.
And right now, my mic isn't even working. Like, I'm not a good podcaster yet. I've got to send
Sometimes it is, and sometimes it's not. It's haunted. It's been cursed. I told you, we're sensitive to curses.
It's true.
So we were like, we had sort of joked about it, I think. And we were both like, oh, no, we're not. We would never.
We would never tell her when we go up there.
We would never.
That would be so crazy. And then because we talked about it, I started freaking out that I was going to do it. I was like, I'm for sure going to get up there and tell this woman that I love her and I've dedicated my life to her and I've made a podcast for her.
So we get up there and she has like an assistant, right? Who we think is maybe like her assistant, not somebody from Half Price Books, who when we get up there, and we do go up there together, Rachel's like, no, you have to come with me. And so we go up there together and they're like, are y'all together? We're like, yes. We should point out that Rachel's wearing like a jungle shirt, like a black and white jungle shirt, and I am also wearing a black and white, like a floral shirt. But we had plans to go to the Rainforest Cafe that evening for reasons that I'm just not going to get into because we don't have time.
Well, they're going to become relevant because they're part of this story.
I guess so.
But we can get to those in a second.
Anyway, so we're wearing our matching black and white jungle outfits, right? Not on purpose. It just is the way that it is.
Right. We're going to the Rainforest Cafe. That's what people wear.
So we're dressing for the vibes, right? So the assistant comments on it, and
the
Rachel says,
the assistant has my phone too at this point. I had given her my phone right as we stepped up because she was going to take pictures of us eventually. To take the picture, yeah. So she has my phone and she's like talking to us.
Right. So, and Rachel's like, oh, well, we're going to the Rainforest Cafe. And the assistant's like, oh, the Rainforest Cafe? Well, I'm learning so much because she's like, somebody else had
mentioned medieval times.
We're talking about going to medieval times. She's like, oh, that's so interesting. I'm learning about so many things. And at this point, both of us have like handed our books to Penny, and she's just like dutifully, signing them and just sort of listening to the conversation that we're having with the assistant. And you were talking about why we were going to.
Well, because I think it was Penny who said what kind of, like, what's rainforest food like?
Oh, yeah, like what kind of food is it? And we're like, well, you don't go for the food.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's That's not what you go for. You go for the fake plants and the broken animatronics. That's why you go. So we're just like, oh, no, you don't go for the food. It's like a whole thing. And I think Rachel starts explaining like it's an Eddie Burback video that he did with Ted Nivison. And both of us have watched it and liked it. And then we both also watched the Margaritaville ones. And that's like a whole thing. That's just like in the deep lore of us.
Which I'm telling to Penny read for reasons.
Right.
Like,
they asked.
Like I said, I get up there and, they seem to be enjoying the conversation. So I just kept going, right? Like I was in it to win it at that time.
She got on a roll. She had a captive audience. And she's like, we're just going to do it. So then Penny says, well, we talk a little bit about Penny says it, but we're talking a little bit about the medieval times. I say something like, oh, I feel underdressed for medieval times, but that would be really fun. Maybe we should add medieval times to the list of themed restaurants we like to go to. And then Penny says, y'all seem like cool friends. You should have a podcast. And I look at Rachel. My immediate reaction is to look back at Rachel like, don't you dare. Keep it together. Come on now.
We're almost out of here. Our books are back.
I know. Folks, she did not keep it together.
It was
Rachel
so
immediately says, she starts, I think we're both laughing. Rachel immediately says, we do have a podcast, which is true. And I was like, no, Rachel, how dare you?
And you might have thought I'd stopped there, but I didn't.
No, she didn't stop. She wasn't done. And Penny's like, oh my gosh, that's so exciting. And she's like, she hands me the sticky note and she's like, write it down. And I was like, no, we can't. We can't.
And at this point, I'm now embarrassed and covered my face. But I wasn't ready to stop.
Which we do have photos of, by the way.
And I'm going to put those in newsletter 13.5, so something to look forward to.
A special edition newsletter. So, and I'm like, no, we can't. And they're like, oh, no, why not? And Rachel's like, because it's about you.
And I think my voice got so high-pitched.
It did. It got very high-pitched. It was very funny. Penny, dies. She's got face covered. Assistant is laughing. We're all red-faced, dying laughing. And she was like, well, why? And I was like, it's not good yet. We were going to wait until it was good and start telling people. But we just, I explained okay, so we're reading through your books. We started in March and we're reading through them chronologically. And we read one a month. So, we just finished Love Hacked, but, that's
you had a whole conversation with her while I was internally dying. I didn't know any of that.
I did. So I kind of explained, I'm like, yeah, but we're also, reading, I think you said something about the mysteries. So you did bring that up. And I said, yeah, so it's love and murder and then love and murder and then love and murder. So I wrote down the name. We told her the name. It's Readers of the Lost Art. And the assistant was like, oh, that's such a cool name. And we wrote down on a little sticky note the name of the podcast. And so then we take our picture and she's holding up the sticky note and we're holding up the books. And then they start new podcast, everybody. And we're like, no, seriously, it's not.
It's not good.
It's not good yet. But then we just hightail it out of there.
Couldn't get out of there faster.
Couldn't get out of there fast enough. We did go to one other author whose book
but I was still reeling from it.
I couldn't tell you a single thing that other author said or did.
Don't know her name.
Or who it was or what book. I guess I could go look at the... You did, because we both got our book signed.
And I do not know the name of that book. I had no thoughts, but I can't believe that happened. I couldn't believe that shocked. She said you should. I thought it was a setup because we do have a podcast about her. Yeah. And I was like, well, has she clocked us?
That was my first thought. Was does she already know?
Right. Did she know?
Recognize our voices? That's crazy. But no, that was just what she thought because we were talking about the Rainforest Cafe.
Which, it's just such a weird thing to have said to us based on the fact that we have a podcast about her. Because no one, we talked about the Eddie Burback video, but we mostly, moved on from that. We were just kind of talking about Margaritaville, Medieval Times, Rainforest Cafe, and no one, not a single time, had mentioned the word podcast. She didn't say you should have a YouTube channel like Eddie Burback. She said you should have a podcast. And we do have a podcast, and it's about her. That was crazy. It's the craziest coincidence that's ever happened to me. There was no way that I was going to not tell her after that, because it was the universe opening up.
It was a pretty perfect setup for us to just go ahead and out ourselves.
And then I think I said, as we were walking away, we're your biggest fans, which is horrible.
You did say that, like, the first thing. That was the first thing you said. After you said the podcast is about you, you were like, we're your biggest fans.
I'm telling you, I'm a people pleaser.
Which is when I stepped in to be like, no, actually, I mean, yes, but we just started reading you like in March. So I think I may have told her that we were at the Love Y'all Book Fest. I don't remember if that came up.
I think maybe we did say that. Maybe.
I don't know.
It's hard to say.
Impossible to say.
I told my writer friend about it, and she was like, I bet after that event she got into her group chat and was like, oh my god, these girls have a podcast about me, I'm so cool. I was like, well, I hope it made her happy.
I do hope that it made her happy. So
she said something very kind to us about, because I think I told, like I said, don't know the words that are coming out of my mouth. I said give us a week to get good.
Oh yeah, I remember you're like, I don't remember you saying like give us a week, but I do remember them saying, okay, well y'all need to hurry up and get it together, because she had been threatening to post it on Instagram, which she has not done.
She hasn't.
So maybe she is giving us time, or maybe she was like
dazzled. Maybe she listened to it and she was like, wow, they were right.
They need time. They need some time to work this out. Which is fair, because she's right. She's right about that.
We should post the picture of us with Penny when we post this episode. And then we could like if you want to hear our story about meeting Penny, listen to this episode.
At Penny Reed.
But anyways, at some point I was like, well, give us like another week at least, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Like we don't even post every week. I'm telling you, like, things just start coming, and I like had no control over it, no thoughts in my tiny little brain, so there was nothing to be done for it.
Now we have a delightful, beautiful memory.
And the pictures are very funny, because that
the pictures
assistant
are hilarious.
Did start taking those pictures as soon as I was like, we got a podcast about you. She was like, click, click, click.
Gotta document this
for the documentary.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's our Penny Reed story.
Yeah. So anyway, Penny, if you are listening to this,
wait, I want to say the nice thing that she said about us.
Oh, she didn't say the nice thing that she said?
I don't think so. I think I got distracted by me being an idiot and saying that we only needed a week. But she said that she was also her harshest critic, and that she bets we're already good.
Did say that.
Which was so kind of her, because Penny Reed is so kind. She's wrong in this case, but she's so kind. Couldn't be kinder.
She's right in her heart.
Yeah.
She's right in her heart. She's just wrong in reality, and that's okay.
I'm sure, we'll get good. Don't worry, guys.
We'll figure this out eventually.
We'll safely shepherd us to the end of the Penny Reed verse. I hope not for many years to come, because she'll keep writing and we'll keep having books to read, which kind of takes...
We're never going to catch up.
Well, it takes me to what I wanted to talk about in my Feelings Corner. Have we arrived at Feelings Corner?
We are at Feelings Corner. Okay. So, like I said, today we're talking about Neanderthal Marries Human, book 1.5.
And my feelings are that I was so sad when it ended. I was so sad. I had such a nice time. I haven't been, like, if you've read my newsletters, you know that I've been struggling. And just in general, I've been struggling. The world is pretty sad right now. But while I was reading Neanderthal Marries Human, I felt so happy. And, it doesn't even really have a story.
It doesn't have a story. It just kind of meanders and has a good time.
There's no real, like, overarching plot.
It's kind of like a series of vignettes.
Yeah. There are small problems that need to be solved, But it doesn't matter. It's almost like a sitcom. It doesn't matter because I love these characters. I'm willing to watch them do anything at this point. They were just, it was so nice. I was so in love with Quinn again, just like right back there. And then this book made me like Nico more. I was like, oh,
I know.
This is such a better introduction to Nico.
We don't even get a lot of Nico in this one either.
But he's so great.
Like, but there was so much Dan too.
There's
so much good Dan content.
Good Dan content for me. He's so great.
I'm still so mad at you. I will never get over it.
And honestly,
I'll never be over it.
Because we've read up to Love Hacked, which is the third book in the series, and I still felt like we did not have big, like, I didn't know anything about Kat. I didn't know anything about Marie. I only knew about Marie because I'd read her book. I didn't know anything about Ashley. But this book, because there isn't much plot, there is time to get more of these people. Like, I do feel like Marie had a significant role in this book. Like, she was very fun. And she planned the wedding. You're looking like you don't remember.
I was like, which one? What she do?
And then Kat was also very fun with her and her stuff with Dan.
I just feel like I'm really going to like Kat. I feel like I already have an affinity with her, and I don't know why. Maybe because she's like the youngest and the quietest, and I'm like, I get that. I get you're quiet. And I'm very curious about what sort of person she is. I really enjoyed Janie. I just enjoy how crazy she is.
Yeah, Janie
She's just
is so
strange, and I love that about her.
Yeah.
I love that when I read Janie books, I get to learn things.
Yeah.
It's like just scouring, doing like a Wikipedia run where you just like go and do whatever. I learned so many things.
I almost feel like being in her perspective is like a balm to the soul. Like, I don't have to worry about anything. And just take some facts, be loved by the people around me. And that's not to say that Janie doesn't have problems. She does. She's got a real shitty family.
Oh, goodness. Yeah.
But yeah, so she's got like a really shitty family, but you don't even care because she has such a good family too. Like, the knitting circle is like such a good family. It's like, well, if you had like a good family and a good group of friends and a man who was like so in love with you, and like you were also as pretty and tall and like lovely as you are, like, I think it would be too much. So it's good that there's something there. That's not.
I feel like every time I read a Penny book, I am also reading another book around that same time that has a lot of the same content and issues. So the book that I just finished right before I read this was Just for the Summer by Agatha Jimenez.
Yeah.
Which has that same theme of like not being able to rely on your parents.
Yeah.
And I'm like, maybe I'm just a heartless bitch, but like, if I had anyone in my life that was that deeply unreliable, I would cut them out so fast. Like, it doesn't make sense to me that, you know, Janie's trying to keep her father around. It doesn't make sense to me that What's-Her-Face in the other book was so desperate for her mother's attention and love. I'm like, you're getting it from so many other places. Why does this one relationship mean so much to you? It doesn't, I don't understand it. Like, I get it, but I also really, 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 really don't.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting to see that happen in both of these books.
Yeah.
I love that the book didn't focus so much on that, because like, she does have so many other things and so many other people. But then at the end, when he would just refused to be anything that anyone needed him to be, and then he did get cut out, I was like, spoilers, I guess. But like, thank God. I just can't.
We've done this with 3 books now. This will be our 4th. Spoilers for the Pennyverse do not matter. I'm sorry that what happens in the story is not the point of this story. Like, it just doesn't matter. You could tell me the plot of this whole story, and that wouldn't change my enjoyment of reading it, because it is not what happens, it is how it unfolds. And like the interrelationships between the characters. Seeing Dan love Nico,
it's so cute. It's so fun. Like a little cookie that we didn't have. I don't think we had in the other one, but like that he's so like buttoned up and sitting up straight and ready to go, and Quinn's just over there being very suspicious. That whole scene was very fun. I very much enjoyed it.
Truthfully, so a lot of the plot of this book I say loosely, revolves around Quinn getting rid of his private clients and transitioning his business to be more like above the board. Not that what he was doing was illegal. Truthfully, I had not cared. And truthfully, if he was blackmailing people to do good, I'd be like, yeah, more fucking power to you, Quinn.
We need more of that, my guy. What are you doing? I was a little bit frustrated with Janie. Listen, let's flout the laws. Let's do it all day, every day. I don't care. Let's get some anarchy up in here.
Well, this was
so
a
when Janie
different
was
time.
like, this was a different time, but not that different. I don't think it was that different. I mean, the groundwork's been being laid for a long time.
Yeah,
you know?
but I don't think people are as, like we were starting to get frustrated, but we still thought we could work within the system, maybe. Like, if we worked within the system, we could make the real change, which I think is Janie's, thing.
Janie's like, we got to work within the system.
But now,
and I'm like, no.
Our Lord 2025, I'm like, fuck it.
I'm sorry. If our own president is not even remotely aware of the system, if he's just doing whatever he wants,
right,
then I don't understand why we have to play by the rules and he doesn't.
So, hard to, I don't know that Penny would be like, yes, I would change that now. I don't think she would, but I think had she written that character 10 years later, like where we are now, that perhaps the considerations may have been slightly different.
Maybe.
Because it just, that was a different time. We still thought that there was a system to play in. No, there's just not. There's not a system.
Just what system?
So I do think, but I agreed. I was like, Janie, let him blackmail these awful losers. Who cares? Yeah. He is so hot. He has so much money. I need you to get it together, girl.
Yeah, I did the part where, maybe we should get into I feel like everything I want to talk about is very plot based. So maybe let's talk about the series of events. Yeah. Not necessarily the plot, but the series of events. So this is all about, I don't know if you can tell from the title, but it is about Janie and Quinn getting married.
Right. And I want to ease any potential worries because I hate second books in a romance series because I always worry that we're going to have a forced breakup in our second book. Like, this couple is together and they're together. They stay together throughout the book. There is no oh my God, are they going to not make it? Is the wedding going to be called off? That is never... It was literally never in question.
That is not even the point. The point, the thing, what is hilarious is that Janie's like, we're too good. It's too good. We've not suffered. There's been no suffering. So I need to make suffering happen.
Manufactured
so that
suffering.
I know. Yeah, manufactured suffering so that I know if we actually will work.
I'm like, so good at manufacturing my suffering.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think she was wrong necessarily. I absolutely could see where she was coming from.
I could too, and it made sense.
Yeah, because they hadn't been together that long.
Yeah.
So I really appreciated that about her, that she was like, it's not about me, testing his love for me. It's about making sure that we really do fit together in sickness and in health, you know?
There was this crazy part where she was like, don't ever burp in front of me. And then he's like, don't ever talk about your period. And I was like, are y'all 12? What is happening?
Yeah, I did kind of give Quinn the side eye on that one.
He's like, I don't even want to know that you're on it. Just put it on a calendar so I don't have to see it. It's like, okay, Quinn, you need to get it together. You're a grown man.
What do you think it's like? Because I guarantee whatever you're thinking... It's not that, I did, when she talked about, I don't want to leave the door open when we're going to the bathroom. I'm like, I am so 100% on board with that. She's like, I don't want to know about your digestive situation. She's like, unless we need to go to the emergency room. And I was like, yes. I
like to tell everyone about my digestive system. I'm like, I will be shitting my pants later tonight. So I don't know if I could live up to that one. I don't know if I could live up to Janie's standards. I don't think.
I was totally for them. I was like, yes, I agree. I agreed on the burping, except I have no idea when I would ever be involved in a burping contest. But, I do like that she kept the door open just in case, you know. You don't want to be too rigid with your rules. But I did give a little bit of a side eye when he was like, I don't want to talk about your period. Okay. All right. Are you a character in a sitcom right now? What's happening?
Maybe.
Maybe. But that's like the end of the book. So like she's talking about, you know, I want to make sure that we be compatible even if we're going through a really rough time. And what's more difficult and more terrible than planning a big wedding?
Yeah.
So that is what they do.
Who's planned too, because I've been married twice. It sounds like I'm looking for the third one. I've been married twice, and I'm ready for the next one.
Yes.
I've been married twice, and I'm currently married. And that one will not be being replaced. But as a person who has planned 2 weddings, it sucked both times. The first one, I had like a pretty big wedding, and it was so stressful that I was like literally sick at the wedding. Like I was sick. Like I had given myself a cold. You know, those like stress colds where it like hurts the back of your throat. And yeah, so I was like literally sick at my wedding. And then I've been like a bridesmaid in a big wedding, and that was also so super stressful. So when it came time for Jeffrey, my husband, and I to get married, I was secretly very excited about COVID, because I was like, we can really get away with not having a wedding. And so we did have like a Zoom wedding, but even that was more stressful than you would think. Like even like a small wedding, because you know you still want to do like the things. It's just like how you're doing them is different. Like I still wanted to send invitations with a Zoom link. Like I still, you know, we still got a cake for us. I still had to get my makeup, hair, pictures, all that stuff. And I think we were only engaged for like 3 months before we were married. That sounds short, but unlike Janie and Quinn, we dated for like 6 years. So, so I wasn't sure. But what I'm saying is that even like small weddings are very, I think, stressful. Like there's just a lot of things to do. I mean, like a normal party is stressful. Add on the like, oh, I'm about to enter
anything that has to be planned.
Yeah.
is going to be stressful, you know, because it's just you got to do things and people are going to see it and all of that. So, you know, they come to an agreement that they can get married, because Janie's worried that they won't, like that it's not real because they've only experienced joy and bliss. So she agrees to marry him as long as they get to have a big wedding. And then it's just like this whole series of trials and trying things and all of this. Like she tries to, abstain from sex, and Quinn's like, okay. Fine. And then he's like, oh, I'll do it. I'll make you a bet that, you know, if you give in, we have to get married immediately. 24 hours later. Yeah. And she's like, okay, bet. And then she does give in, and then he's like, no, that didn't count. We can still do the real wedding. And then there is this sort of plot about him doing the business things, and he's trying to, and Janie wants to know more about it. There is a part where they go to this charity ball, and Janie gets to meet one of like it's not an ex, but it's someone that he used to like hook up with. Yeah. Janie calls them his former slamps. Slamp being, I think we may have talked about this with the first one because she uses it a lot in the first one too, but it's slam piece, and it's supposed to be mostly affectionate is the term. It's like, it's not supposed to be derogatory. It sounds derogatory, but it's not supposed to be. So she gets to meet one of them.
I like that scene a lot because she really has like a healthy attitude about it. Like, well, yeah, he slept with people before me. That's not really my concern or business. But I am curious to like the type, like how does that work?
Yeah, like she was like, I can get some data on this. And so like they meet out in public, and Dan and Quinn are like being very like trying to keep them apart, and they're talking about how crazy she is. Her name is Nikki, I think.
Wasn't crazy at all.
And it was like the only thing was that she wanted a real relationship.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why are y'all calling her crazy. She seems totally normal. And then she meets Janie in the bathroom and she's like stained her dress. And so Janie helps her, like she makes like a rosette out of her own gloves and like pins them to her dress. And it turns out Nikki's in fashion and she's talking about how beautiful Janie is. And she's like warning her about Quinn. And she's like, he just doesn't commit. And Janie's like, well, actually, we're kind of getting married. And she's like, oh, okay. And like, that's it. And I want to talk about this because this was like the number one thing that stood out to me. And I was thinking about this. I was driving somewhere last night. I was taking my dog for a drive in the car because she was very sad yesterday. So I took her for a drive. We just went on a night drive so I could continue to stream Lemon Drop by ATEEZ. So
many lemon drops mentioned in this book, by the way.
I know. It was like it was meant to be.
I know. We should tell Penny about Lemon Drop.
We should tell her. And, you know, just go, since we've sped up the timeline, we might as well go ahead and get in there. So I'm driving in the car last night and I was thinking about that scene because there is a part at the end when Janie calls her up to get help to get a new wedding dress. And she's so like excited to talk to Janie. She's like, oh my God, yeah, I can help you out. I've got like a designer friend and she like really makes it happen. And Janie ends up getting this beautiful wedding dress. And I was like, you can tell based on this interaction that Penny is a girl's girl. Yeah. Because she doesn't do the thing. And I was like, and I was a little worried about that because a lot of the women that we have met in this series thus far that are outside of the circle have been like terrible, have been crazy. We've had like a crazy stalker woman. We've had like a weird agent woman. We've had like a
conniving.
A conniving, lazy, you know, manipulative office woman. So I'm like, I don't know about this. But the way this character is not, there's no reason really for Penny to treat her kindly. She could have very well been actually crazy. Yeah. And that might have added a little bit more spice to the book.
Yeah, that might have given like a plot for people who needed it. Yeah. Not I didn't.
I didn't. I just needed the vibes. But she doesn't. She not only makes her a very normal and sweet and beautiful woman, and she's very talented, but she also gives her a very important role in Janie and Quinn's, you know, eventual wedding. And I was like, you know what? You can really tell who are the girls. Yeah. Not by how they treat their friends, not by how they treat the women that are like, can do something for them, but by how they treat women who could be perceived as competition, you know? Yeah. And like you could say, you know, a lesser woman than Janie or Penny might look at Nikki and be intimidated or, you know, feel like she is a threat of some kind. And she doesn't. She doesn't even remotely go that route. She's like, no, she's a sweet, beautiful woman. And she just happened to have had a relationship with Quinn that didn't work out. That's it.
And like, I believe she's like, yeah, she seems really nice. Like, you know, I can see why you liked her.
Yeah.
Which I think is really, honestly, Janie and Penny are probably bigger women than me. Like, you know, better. I mean, I don't think that I would do anything to Jeff's exes, but at the same time, I don't know that I would be like, so, like, ooh,
calling him up.
Yeah.
Like, let's talk about what their relationship was.
So
like.
Chill about it.
Yeah.
But Janie's chill about a lot of things that I might not be.
There is also this scene where the girls go to Vegas for the Bachelorette.
I was trying to figure out if Sandra actually did get married. They like tear up the
No, Sandra
license.
Doesn't get married until... Oh, that's the one where she got the shirt. The situation shirt.
Yeah, well, because they say that there's a license with Sandra and the guy.
I feel like if they tear
it up, and I was like, well, I don't... Like, if I tear up Jeff and I's wedding license, I don't think that means anything.
Well, don't you have to file it? Like, don't you have to go turn it in?
I think that's true. I think you do. So, and they had just married.
I think that maybe they just...
Okay. Yeah.
It's like signing a contract, but then burning the contract. Like, if you don't have a copy of it, then it doesn't count, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure that won't come back to bite us later. I'm sure. But this is where, so they go have this wild Vegas vacation. Fiona has to go back to her children. I was like, well, of course Fiona wasn't there. Fiona would never have allowed this to happen. But so Fiona had to go. So it's the crazy ones are all there. And Ashley had brought moonshine from back home from her brother Cletus.
As a person whose family has a history of running moonshine in Oklahoma during Prohibition. This was really close to my heart. I love this. It's like, yeah, Ashley, you bring that moonshine.
Sandra had brought it. She thought it was a type of absinthe,
Right.
but it actually was like a slang term for some type of, was it hashish or hashish? How do you say it?
Hashish,
I'm not a drug user, so I don't know how to say things.
Yeah, and I don't even know what hashish is. So
Whatever it is, it's apparently very illegal. So she thought it was just regular absinthe, but it wasn't. And she had like baked it into the cookies or something like that, or in the chocolates.
Yeah.
So these girls got high as kites, fully out of it. The Stan, the security guard who's sort of taken Dan's place, because Dan, of course, is the best man, and he's in the desert shooting machine guns with the boys.
Which is fun.
That is I'm like, what? Of course they are. Of course that's what they're doing. So Quinn and the boys are in the desert with machine guns, and they get a call from Stan, who's like, the girls have lost their mind.
Someone's getting married.
And they're all like, So Nico's there, and Dan is there, and Quinn and the boys go run into Vegas to figure out what's going on.
In a helicopter, which is delightful.
Yes. It's very like Christian Grey insanity, but like if 50 Shades of Grey was actually good.
Right.
Eternally beefing with E.L. James. They get there and it's just chaos.
Yeah,
and I feel like I say chaos and you're like, well, yeah, Penny's always chaotic. No, I don't think you understand. This is like a level of chaos. Like, she didn't even put all of it in the book.
Right.
Because it was too much. But they get there, and Sandra has just gotten married, and the groom is wearing a t-shirt that says, I married Sandra, whatever her last name is, and all I got was this dumb t-shirt, I believe. Or this is my getting married to Sandra t-shirt. What does the t-shirt say?
I think I married Sandra Fielding, and all I got was this lousy t-shirt.
Yes. So he's got the t-shirt, which Quinn makes him take off, which is like a little Easter egg because the t-shirt does come back in book 3, which we've already seen the t-shirt, but like now we get to, you know, if you've been following along, you know. So Sandra's gotten married. All the girls are off their minds. Ashley's dancing with a guy. Kat is dancing with Elvis. And this makes Dan real upset.
Very upset. He destroys Elvis.
He demolishes Elvis. So each man has to grab 2 girls to get them back to the hotel. But they're like, they refuse to leave until they've seen a wedding.
Yeah.
They're like, we came here for a wedding and we're not leaving. And so Nico volunteers to marry Elizabeth. And so they do. They get married.
And that's
then
them
like
getting
Elizabeth
married.
wakes up the next morning and she's like, oh my, I'm married to somebody, but I don't know who. I don't know what's happening. So it was a very delightful scene. It was very chaotic. It was very fun.
And watching, so in that scene, this is fun. This book is fun because we do get several scenes from Quinn's perspective, which I thought was fun. We get that scene from Quinn's perspective. And so we have him describing like the absolute chaos of these like 6 mostly undressed women. And just Dan's like got one over his shoulder and then like Kat's trying to rip into his pants. And then
which Quinn just thinks is hilarious and doesn't even bother to help.
And then Nico's got his wife and another one, and he's having a great time. He's like, this is great. I've got 2 beautiful women. They both want me. I'm happy. You Americans and your weird hang-ups. Yeah, Nico's having a wonderful time. And then Quinn also has one like over his shoulder.
Yeah, he's got one like a piggyback or a shoulder
that's
thing.
Right. He's got Sandra on his back, and she's like doing this cowboy. She's like pretending he's a little horse, and that she's riding him, and she's having the best time.
Sandra's always having
the best time. No one is
time.
having a better time than Sandra. No one's ever had a better time than Sandra. I love
Truly.
Sandra. I should bring her to one of my books, but I can't because I have a harem that I'm contending with, and I just don't know if I can bring all. Like, I think I have to be Sandra. you know? Like, I have to be the Sandra.
Well, Sandra is one of my maybes, actually.
Oh.
I have a couple people that I'm eyeing for my next chapter.
I'm going to really be winging it today. Lo and behold, I didn't come prepared. So whatever comes out, that's what we're gonna go with.
That's the Lord's will, and we're just gonna see. We're just gonna see what happens.
It's the chaos chapter.
All right, so world building. So this one takes place in a lot of different places. One thing we didn't mention is that one of the plot elements, little vignettes, is that Quinn is reuniting with his parents who had cut him off after his brother's death.
And we learn more about why they did that. And like what exactly went down. You hear that they cut him off and you like think, oh, they're bad people, but like it makes total sense. Like I have no ill feelings towards his parents.
Oh yeah, they were so great. And I love that Des shows up for Janie's wedding dress retry on at the end. I'm like, well, okay. Sure, why not?
I can't remember if Cassandra and I texted you or a different of our friend group to tell about Tan France's Say Yes to the Dress. Did we talk to you about that? It
was me. Yeah. You called me to tell me about Tan Francis, and the woman who's getting married to a ghost?
Yeah.
Was that what it was?
That one. Yeah, that one.
I have not watched the clip because y'all called me when I was in the middle of doing something else.
I think it's maybe on HBO Max, which I don't even think you have. So
no, I refuse to get another streaming service. I can't do it.
The reason I thought about that was because Cassandra and I watched many episodes of Tan France's Say Yes to the Dress that day. One of them had the ghost, which we did call you to tell you about. But there was another episode where the dad had cancer, and I think the thing was that like he wasn't like, you know, he had some time, but he wasn't going to make it. He wasn't going to make a recovery from this cancer. And he had so many opinions on his daughter's wedding dress. Like they were like, we want this to be like a perfect day for him. We're doing this for him. We want him to see us get married. We want him to like have this perfect day. And I was talking to Cassandra about it when we were watching this, and I was like, I could ask my dad to come with me to try on wedding dresses, and his response would be, why?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, why? You have a mom, did you know? Like he would not understand why he was invited. I don't think he would have any opinions. He might be like, oh yeah, that one looks nice, but like that's the most I can imagine. But this dad had so many opinions, and I was thinking about that because there is a scene when Des shows up and he like helps Janie pick out her wedding dress, and they were talking about like, oh, he had a lot of opinions. Yeah. He had a lot of opinions about these dresses.
And like critiqued them sort of mercilessly. And so the designer lady who was there was like viewed it as a challenge, they said. So that was very fun. So I really appreciated that they had that whole kind of subplot of him reuniting with the parents and like closing that loop. And because they are actually really lovely people. Yeah. And it makes you feel so much better about the fact that Janie like is about to cut her dad off, because she realizes, she's like, I just think it's so sad for you to have these people in your life that are so good and great and wonderful and warm, because not everybody has that. Yeah. But you're like not, and like when she goes to yell at, not really yell, but like to kind of confront Quinn's sister.
I was thinking because about that.
Yeah, she was really mad about them reuniting, and his sister obviously kind of reminds me of Janie in kind of a way. Like there's obviously I wonder if she's on the spectrum somewhere. Yeah. Just because of the way that they describe her. It was very funny to me because Janie talks about like one time she was going to go give her a hug and she'd like put her hand on her head to keep her away, but then just like kept talking like nothing had happened. I was like, she sounds delightful.
One of my favorite lines in the book, and I know I highlighted it, was Janie was like, it's nice to not be the weirdest woman out at a dinner. Like, oh my god, that's so good.
But yeah, so they really brought like the gravity.
Of us are really glowing. We loved this book. Like, it was so good.
It really was so charming.
A balm to the soul, especially after the big sleep.
Oh my goodness. Oh. See, this is why we need Penny. We need Penny to come in and soothe us after we've been through all the murder.
Do her good works.
I wonder when the murders are going to start getting good, because we haven't gotten there yet. It's not happened yet.
I thought
so.
Trin's last case was delightful, but that's because it was written for me.
It was written for you. It was in the voice of Sean Spencer, and I was like, I just don't think it's a very good mystery. Like, it's a good character, but he's just doing whatever.
Yeah, I love that about him. Just like Sandra, just doing whatever.
So world building. So we're in Las Vegas a little bit. We're in LA a little bit. Not LA, Chicago a little bit. We're
Nikki
in Boston.
Lives in LA, but that's not really relevant. She just is mentioned that she lives there.
I hope Nikki comes back. I want my Nikki. I just want her to be in the background.
Maybe she'll be in one of the extted. If not, maybe we can.
Maybe that's our calling.
Maybe that's our
story.
Give
Nikki her due. I don't know. And then we're also in England, in London.
Yeah.
We start in London. Janie's just gallivanting.
Did you
having
mention
a good
Boston?
Time. I may have mentioned it in my heart. I don't know if I mentioned it in reality.
Yeah. So that's where Quinn's family is from. That's where Dan's from. So they spend a significant amount of time in Boston, but not in Boston in a way where we get to see. We're told that she gets married in Boston, but it's not like it's not like Saunders' book where we're really running around Chicago having fun on the streets of Boston. Like that could have been any city.
Right.
In this case, it is Boston.
I feel like the only place that we go to that really has any kind of personality is Vegas.
I felt like Vegas had a lot of personality, and I thought London did. I thought it seemed like what we saw of London. It feels like Janie's kind of like not sure what to do with herself in London, and and so we kind of get that vibe as well. But when they go to the tower and stuff, and when she's at that charity ball, the way she describes it does feel very like, I got the London vibes, but not Boston.
Not Boston.
I felt like
Chicago was
honestly,
like a little blip.
Yeah, like we were in Chicago the least, probably.
I did enjoy, and I should mention, I guess, that this one takes place concurrent to Elizabeth's book.
Yes.
So there are places where the stories merge together that I thought was really delightful. I enjoyed that too. A lot.
It honestly made me like Nico and Elizabeth's book better, like in hindsight. And I didn't dislike Nico and Elizabeth's book, but it made me feel like I understood Elizabeth better. It made me feel like I understood Nico. Like, it made Nico seem a lot more charming. I think it's hard seeing Nico from Elizabeth's perspective because she's already so infatuated with him that we don't get the chance to kind of see him be charming. She already had, because she's known him from the past, she already has her mind made up about him.
Yeah, we don't get to see him through fresh eyes until 1.5. Yeah. And that was it. It's very fun.
It is. Like, it makes him seem like... So I was thinking about that when I was reading. I was like, should you read this before 2? But I think the answer is no. Because it both starts before and then stops after 2. And I do think that you should read Elizabeth's story with Nico before, seeing their wedding.
I feel like reading Elizabeth's story after this one would be a little bit of a letdown because the tone is just a little bit darker. Yeah. I think. So I would absolutely recommend when we do the timeline.
When we do our official
that's one of our goals. Yeah. I will probably set them next to each other on the timeline. But I would recommend that you read 1, 2, and then 1.5.
I agree. I do think you should read this book before 3, and I think it's a little disappointing that we didn't.
Well, listen, we
didn't know.
We're doing them in chronological order. That's part of our goal. I did think that it was fun getting some of the backstory of little glimpses of things that happened in Love Hacked. Yeah, like the T-shirt thing,
and then Sandra saying, "I would never marry someone that I've only known for."
Yes, I was like, okay, sure.
That was
Sandra.
really beautiful.
That was fun. So I mean, I don't feel like cheated because I read Love Hacked before this.
No, I don't either.
But
I think the thing is that I liked Alex so much that because I'd read Love Hacked, I missed him not being here.
I kept like feeling like he was going to show up, but I was like, wait, no.
Yeah, I was like, where's Alex?
He's not here yet. We don't even know him.
Yeah, Sandra hasn't met him yet. Well, she has met him because he is her waiter, but
right. But she doesn't know him yet.
So I think that was the only reason that I felt cheated, is because I wanted Alex to be here because I know he exists and he wasn't here. And so that was disappointing for me. But I agree that this should be read after book too.
All right, so important characters. We really talked about a lot of the characters.
There's Nikki.
All of our reoccurring characters do come back.
And we do get more information on a lot of the knitting circle. Still not Fiona, really, but we do get a lot of Fiona.
She is such a mystery.
In Love Hacked. So
yeah, and I feel like that's on purpose.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Because one of my predictions about her does appear to have been coming true. But I'm wondering what Penny's going to do with it.
Yeah.
So Fiona she's still a little bit of a mystery, a little bit of a shadow person. We get a little bit more about Kat. Marie pops up a little bit more. Like, I just kept seeing her name more.
Yes.
I still feel like I don't really know much about her.
Yeah.
Ashley showing up, we know a little bit more about Ashley in this one.
And we get to know a little bit more
about her family.
I mean, obviously we've had Sandra's book, but like if we hadn't, like this one would showcase a lot of Sandra.
We get a little more of Sandra before.
Yeah.
A little bit more context for her that explains kind of why she is the way that she is a little bit. And Kat, still a little bit of a mystery, but we get to see her in action. And it's very interesting that we already know that Dan is head over heels for her.
Yeah. And that she likes Dan.
Yeah. So like
they like each other. So this romance is 6 books in the making.
They're already like working things out. So I was like, okay. I wonder if we're still going to keep getting hints about them. I know. Let's see. So then we do get Nikki, and we talked about Nikki already, but she's one of our new characters.
Steven comes back in a big way.
Steven does come back.
He was so funny when he gets on the plane and he's like, Janie, just let me be with my love. Because he has to travel not on private plane to London. Because he doesn't go out there with them. He comes later.
Flying commercial like a
even though
popper.
It's first class. So he gets to fly in the private jet coming home. And Janie's making fun of him. And he's like, I just need you to shut up and let me have this. This is my moment with my love, this plane. And I need you to be quiet. And I just really loved that for him. So I was feeling really good about Steven. Seems confirmed that he is gay.
I kept thinking like, well,
or at least bi. Because
it
does talk about him liking men at some point. So
does it?
I think so. Well, he names the plane Maurice. Or not Maurice. It may have been Maurice. It was a male's name. And then his ringtone is like, it's raining men. And I think he talks about hitting on a man or liking a man.
Well, it's not his ringtone. It's the ringtone that he set up for his contact on Janie's phone.
Yes.
And she doesn't know how to change it. So I think that was very, very funny. I'm trying to remember.
I feel like at some point they mention him thinking a man is attractive or dating a man at some point. Because I remember thinking, oh, okay, so I think he is gay. But maybe, or at least bi. He gives the vibe of being sexually fluid anyway, which is nice.
Yes.
Some nice representation in the book. And then, who else do we have? We mentioned Nico.
We have the parents. We have Catherine and, is it Desmond, I think?
Desmond.
Are Quinn's parents. And they are so parenty.
Yeah. Perfect parents.
Very, I like when she goes to dinner at their house and Quinn and the dad just automatically get up and start doing the cleaning. And she talks about, well, this is our system. If you cook, then the other person cleans. And so like they switch off, and she talks about how, having that system in place prevents a lot of conflict. And I'm all for systems. I'm all for systems where everybody knows exactly what they're supposed to do and everybody agrees on the rules.
I would love systems, but I often feel like when I make a system, it only makes sense to me. And then I'm the only one that can do it. So all of my systems are a singular effort.
It's a solar system, but it's just you. It's just you're the sun. Which, by the way, I've been watching a bunch of Hank Green, and he was talking about how ours is the only solar system because our sun is named Sol. And so this is our solar system is just ours. The correct term for it is planetary systems.
Interesting.
Yes. So this is the only solar system that's out there.
I am the sun, like the song The Sun by Eden and Dindon. Which is a great song, everyone. And my
It
life
is a good
revolves
song.
around me. Anyways. So we also get more of the siblings. So we get some of Quinn's sister, Stacy. We get to learn a little bit more about Quinn's brother, Des, who's died. We get some of Dan's brother, Seamus, who was in the first book, and we get Janie's sister, Jim.
Yeah, who was also in the first book.
Yes, as well as Janie's father.
Does he even have a name? Doesn't matter.
I think so.
I don't think I
But Dan is
marked
everywhere.
him as a
I want
character.
everyone to
Dan
understand
is all
that Dan
up
is
in this book.
Every 3 pages, Dan is here, and he's doing.
And he's
something.
always doing something hilarious. I love when she talks about him being exasperated and how he just like raises his eyes to the sky, like, "Help, please help me."
I like that they said that he was 6 foot, and then they called him short. I was like, "What is?"
I thought it was hilarious. I'm like,
happening?
well, Janie's like Amazonian, so everything is short to her, I guess.
Yeah, it was so great to see Dan so much. And I think that's all. So most of them are repeats. The only new ones are the parents and Nikki. We get some more background on like the time Janie was drugged. So we get more on that family, but not in a way that's interesting.
It's not
I mean, it was interesting in the book,
important.
but not in a way that's interesting for characters.
Yeah. All right. So now that we talked about the characters,
we need to choose.
it's time to do some drafting. And once again, I've forgotten to pull up the sheet so that
Why
I know.
would anyone ever have that sheet pulled up when we start recording?
That would be crazy.
Here's the crazy part. I have my notebook out. I was ready to look and see what I said happened in chapter 2. And I opened my notebook page to chapter 2.
I think you've got one sentence.
Where is it? It's not in this notebook because what's in the notebook is crossed out.
I don't know where you put your thoughts. I only know about the notebook. If you choose to go outside of the bounds, I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, I just don't even know what to say. I was going to recap my story so far, and I was like, well.
You know what we should be doing is putting all of the stuff on this nice little doc that you made for us.
I know.
That I've just been consistently ignoring. And I keep saying, oh, I'll have that done. But no, I'm not. I won't have it done.
All of us are busy. All of us have our things. And sometimes things just get away from us. It's just,
some things need to be let go, and that document just happens to be one of those things.
But it's not going to be let go forever. We are going to get it.
We'll get it.
We're going to get it. So I don't have written down. I have what I remember. And I think
I remember.
I think the reason I'm confused is that I had already, I wrote down what happened for chapter 3, and then I, crossed it out. And then I have what happens for chapter 2 underneath it. Because I think I really skipped chapter 2. I was ready for chapter 3.
Well, it was book 3 that we talked about chapter 2 on, so that's an understandable mistake, I think.
Yeah, I think that gets me confused because today we're on book 4 and we're going to be talking about chapter 3. But good news, I thought I didn't do this work, but I did it last time. So there you go. I even have I have the boy that I drafted in my chapter 3 notes.
Okay.
So,
all right. So, do you want to do your recap?
Okay. My recap. Rachel, is my name. I am her. She is me. That's what Janie always says. It's very cute. Yes. So, I own a small store, a small magic art supply store that is going out of business. I don't own it. I run it. It's a family store. My uncle is doing a bad job of taking care of it. He's my useless boss. He hasn't. I should choose Janie's dad. This might be the last time we see him.
We don't have a name for him though.
God.
Well, you should pick Seamus. Seamus would do it too.
But he's a criminal.
Also kind of useless.
I don't know that my uncle's a criminal. Well, we'll get back to that. So the first chapter is all about just setting up that she has no money, she has no resources, and Big Box Magic Store is moving in, and they are going to, take over. She's worried they're going to close down her store. Actually, I think I decided that her uncle has just decided to close down the store. And that's what's going to be able to allow her to go out. So she wants to figure out a way to bring magic to the people. In chapter 2, which we did last time, we are introduced to her roommate, Dan. And he comes into her work, and she has been reading this Reddit thread about her hero. What do I call it? Wise mentor, who is like a YouTube personality. That's Steven. She's been reading this Reddit thread about him being this like controlling interest of the magic plants. Like he owns the land. Then it gets suspiciously deleted. And so Dan is, in chapter 2, convincing her to, like, reach out to that Redditor who made the posts and try to get, like, more information. In chapter 3, so she does that in chapter 3, or in chapter 2. In chapter 3, that Redditor comes and finds her. And his name is Alex. And that is chapter 3. So Alex shows up at the store.
Just Alex shows up.
Well, he doesn't show up at the store. They live in like a little apartment above the store. So he like comes and he shows up and is like, you know, has done some internet research on her and is very curious to why she's asking questions. And then he convinces her that they should go on this road trip, and he can prove that Steven does in fact own this land. And to which Dan says, well, you're not going to go on a road trip with this man without me. And at the end of chapter 3, we all agree that Alex, Dan, and myself are going on a road trip. That's my chapter 3.
Nice.
I know, it's short. That's how I write. Listen, at the Authors in Bloom thing, they were like talking about different writing styles, and Penny was talking about how she's got like detailed things and blah, blah, blah. And there were people who were like...
Really spoke to my soul.
There were people who were like, I just have like... In a chapter, I know how the chapter has to, like, change the story. And that's, like, all I know about the chapter before I start writing it. That is how I write. So, like, I know that in chapter 3, Alex has to show up and convince them to go on a road trip. That's what's going to happen. What that looks like, I don't know. I don't know.
That's not a you problem. That's for later.
Me when I'm actually typing. And I'm not doing that right now. We're just plotting. So that's why this is a writing style, people. I don't want the people to think I'm like shirking my duties. I am doing this in the way that I write, which is to think about vibes and story change. And that's all. So at the end of this chapter, they're going to agree to go on the road trip.
Okay. I do have questions because you know I love details. So I'm going to make you give me some details.
Yeah, and I like to make details up on the spot and then never remember them.
Yeah.
Just like, nah.
Yeah, but we're recording this, so we can always come back and be like, no, you said. So I have questions just because of my own curiosity. So why exactly does Alex, what prompts him to go find Rachel? Like, what is it about her that he's like, I need to go track this girl down and we need to have a come to Jesus?
He is like a hacker, right? Like that's Alex's whole thing. So he can like get information. So he's gonna like do a deep dive on her. In the past, it is not just that Rachel idolizes Steven or like watches his YouTube videos. They've had like a very like cordial, like, you know, they leave comments back and forth to each other. They like have like a internet friendship. And so he thinks like from their conversation, he thinks like, well, she knows this guy. And you know, there's just something about Rachel that brings all the men to the yard. I don't know.
Well, that's got to be true if you're doing a harem. So
exactly.
If you're going to be collecting a man at every port, you gotta have that special something.
I know. So it's just like Sandra, you know, it's all the men. They're just coming. But I think it has to do with the fact that she has this existing relationship with Steven, and she messages him first, and that's what gets him curious. And so then he does this research on her, and he decides to go and speak to her in person. And I think it is the meeting her in person that convinces him that like, oh, she should come with me. I can prove that. Because like she's like a well-known fan, right? Like people know her. So if she supports his theory.
Oh. Does he have some kind of like personal beef with Steven? Or is that a secret that we don't know yet?
It is. He has a personal beef in the way that like, I'm not saying that he's Luigi, the guy who killed that CEO, but like
allegedly
killed that CEO. I'm not saying that. I am saying that his personal beef would be of that nature. Like he is anti-capitalist, anti-big CEOs.
So he's trying to he's really pro-populist. Is that the word that I want? Yeah. He's for the people.
Yeah, he wants magic to be with the people.
Okay.
And he wants them him to take it back.
Okay.
And
Nice.
that's just his, like, you know, thing. And he thinks that Rachel can help him convince the people. There are going to be some additional secrets about Steven. Steven's not going to be a bad guy, but
Okay.
we'll get there.
We'll get there.
We'll get there when we get there. Not in chapter
All right.
3.
Okay. I won't ask any more questions. I have more questions, but I won't ask them yet.
Maybe you should prepare them so that I can prepare answers to them.
Here are all the questions I'm going to have about your story next week. Okay, so my story. Quick recap. See, my devil is in the details.
And I
Devil and I
have
are
never looked at a
besties.
detail.
Yeah. So my story is a romantic paranormal story. It is about a woman who inherits like this farmhouse down in a small southern town and moves down there. And turns out that like many places in town are haunted, and she is going to somehow, I haven't actually figured it out yet, but somehow it's going to turn into sort of a monster of the week, a ghost hunters situation where she's like getting rid of the ghost, or is she getting rid of the ghost? Are there ghosts? We don't know. So first chapter, she just moves down there, road tripping with her cat Henry. Henry's very important to me and to the people. Henry the forest cat, the Norwegian forest cat. So they road trip down. They stay in a small, spooky kind of old hotel in like the downtown. She meets up with her lawyer, who is have a perfect sibling, who is Olivia from the conniving, manipulative Olivia from the first book. She is my perfect sibling who's super mad that I'm leaving because she's planning a wedding, and like, how dare I leave her when she's planning a wedding? And also, like, how come you get this money and like this house and land, and you just need to sell it all and come and help me pay for my wedding? That sort of vibe. So she leaves her, goes down to the small town, stays in the spooky hotel. Next day, she meets with her who will become her wise mentor, and this is Rose, Nico's mom. And she is the lawyer. And, she kind of like is going to take her under her wing and help her like, meet up with the townspeople and become one with the town. And she's gonna, kind of just be a guide for her. And she also makes friends with the quirky townsperson who is Janie. Janie comes to visit her, brings her a gift of toilet paper, and just tells her all about the town gossip and, things that are going on. We've also met the unapproachable idol, who is a famous, like a star of some sort, who's come back to his hometown because I think there was a scandal. And he grew up here, so he's come back to home, and he's trying to like keep it on the DL. And there is a time where we kind of run into each other, and then somebody like makes this whole gossip thing about it on the town's Facebook page, and so now people are like gossiping, and so that person becomes my nemesis. But those two characters have not been cast yet. So in chapter 3, I'm toying with the idea of like a time skip, where I'm accustomed to the town now. I know where things are. I know how to get to the grocery store and all of that sort of things. There is like a big town summer festival of some sort, not like a real holiday, but like a town holiday that nobody would be celebrating except for them. At the town holiday, she reunites with her past enemy from her school days. Some added lore is I think that she had lived there for like a couple years as a teenager, so she actually had gone to school. Maybe it was like a family situation. I think because there is no father that I've cast, I think maybe it's like when her father died, her mother kind of lost her mind. So Olivia and Bobby have to go live with a relative in this small town for like a couple years while her mom gets her shit together. So she has like old friends from this time where she lived there, knew some people, but she didn't live there so long that like she's familiar with everybody, Yeah. So anyway, so she runs into someone who was kind of a bully in high school and that she really disliked. I'm thinking it's someone who's sort of the cheerleader type. You could probably guess who I'm thinking to cast for this. She also has another run-in with the idol at the festival. I'm sort of setting him up as a fake love interest. Mostly because I just still do not know who the love interest is. I also did not give him a personality. So
you're going to have to cast him one day before I take every man in this series.
She's going to take every man, and I'm going to be like, okay, fine, Seamus. I'll just give me Seamus.
I can't wait for Seamus's redemption arc.
He's going to be so glorious. She gets convinced to, at the big festival, she runs into this like gaggle of ladies, and they invite her to come volunteer with them. So they do some type of volunteer work like every Thursday afternoon. I'm not sure what sort of volunteer work I want it to be, if I want it to be like a food bank or a library or like an animal shelter or something. But it's sort of one of those things where it's like a social event. Like everybody who's anybody comes to the volunteer, and while we're lightly volunteering, we're also just like gossiping about everybody. So she goes to the volunteer situation, and at the volunteer situation, everybody's gossiping about what's going on, and the ladies start talking about how all of these creepy things that have just been happening, and you know, common hauntings that go on, and all of these things, and they're just like, and they just take it as fact, and like, oh yeah, definitely this whole town is haunted. I have decided that she works from home. I don't know what she does. She does something on the computer from home. Her work bestie is somebody who is like a long distance work bestie. Okay. So they are talking. I have not decided who I want that to be, but they talk, and I'm pretty sure that like, so I'm going to be telling her, or she's going to be telling her all about like the town and what it's like. And the friend is like, oh, well, I'll come visit sometime. And then Janie shows up, and she tries to convince Bobby to help her because she's decided she wants to actually investigate these ghost stories, and she wants to disprove them. She wants to have concrete evidence that all of these ghost stories are false, because she thinks it's very silly that all of these ladies believe in these stories, and she wants to find some scientific evidence that shows that actually there are no ghosts. And also, as a side note at the bottom, I wrote Henry loves Janie. And that's important because Henry hates everybody. So okay. And that's my chapter 3.
Okay. So now we get to cast a new character.
Yes.
And then
we do chaos.
We didn't have any chaos.
We didn't have any last week.
Yeah. So then, okay. But this time, okay, so we need to do the chaos first and then cast the character. Is that how this works?
No, we have to cast the characters first, and then there's chaos.
Okay. But we have to roll to see who gets to cast first.
Yes.
Okay. It's a 9, which is
That's
you.
Me. Okay.
Which is
so
good.
Yeah, because I was getting suspicious of you going first every time. So I have 2 options, and I think the important thing is for me to go ahead and get Nikki on my team. Nikki's going to be my past enemy.
Okay.
Who is going to become part of my found family. Found family is one of my tropes.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and cast her officially as the beautiful bully that I am going to come to terms with, and we're going to become besties.
Okay. I like that. I'm having a crisis, as always.
Yeah.
There's never a time when we recorded this where I'm like, I'm good. Because I feel like I need more stops on my road trip. Like, they can't just go to Steven's Land. They've got to go other places. So, like, where are they going to go?
Yeah, they have to. That's a road trip.
Yeah, I know.
That was the whole point, is that you got to stop at multiple places.
I know. But what are those places? I don't have that.
Why would they be stopping there?
Yeah. I don't have any of that. So I've got to figure it out. Okay.
Eddie Burback.
Yeah. We're just going to all of the large, okay, we're just going to hit them all. We're hitting all the big box stores. And ultimately going to Steven's Land.
Yeah. But maybe it's not the big box stores. Maybe you're hitting up like important historical like places that are related to this magic. Maybe there's like I was about to say Trail of Tears, but not that. Like there's like an Appalachian Trail kind of thing, but not in the forest and the mountains. It's like a pilgrimage kind of thing for the magic users, for the people who love the plants, but it's kind of an underground. Like, not everybody knows about it, you know?
But Alex knows about it.
Alex knows about it, and he's like, here, I want to take you on a journey.
That culminates in exposing Steven.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so something like that. So obviously I'm doing a harem. I just need presumably anyone who's listening to this has been listening to all the episodes, but maybe they jumped in. Maybe this is their first one and they don't know that
go back and listen to the other ones. Go back. Just go back. They're fun.
But if you don't, then you don't know that I'm doing a harem because I had to.
Yeah.
Not because I want.
She was forced.
I was forced. I rolled it and now I have it. I have a harem. And so I have to do a harem.
I am delighted. I'm so excited about this harem.
I have to do a road trip and a harem. And so
But she is sucking up all the male characters.
Right.
And
And
she's
so
a vacuum.
I'm like, should I be adding more men's folk to this story right now? So every time we have to pick, I am like confronted with, okay, well, here's my next chance for Quinn and Nico. I've already got Alex
crisis,
and Dan.
Is your crisis, which one do you pick?
My crisis is,
or are you like, I wish I could get a different type of character?
My crisis is because I don't know what the stops are. I don't know where we're going, and I don't know if they're going to be picking up another boy here, or if I just need like a passing character.
We're also going to be starting a new series in a couple of months. Like we're leaving Knitting in the City fairly soon for a little while,
which is panic-inducing, horrible. So like,
how much? That's fun though. We're going to get some fresh blood up in here.
How much longer do I have to pick Quinn?
Yeah, but he's going to come back eventually.
I suppose the character that I need is the uncle, my uncle, because he's the only character that's been in the story that I don't like have yet.
Got to get him out of the way.
But I don't. So, you know, there's plenty of like shitball characters from this story that I could pick. You know, Janie's sister could be my uncle.
Maybe it would just be your aunt.
Yeah,
there's a female form of uncle out there. It's called aunt or aunt.
I know, but I already said uncle. But I kind of feel like I do want to take her. She's such bad news. She's also supposed to be like very beautiful, Jim, because Janie's
she looks
very
just
beautiful,
like Janie.
and she looks just like Janie. So that's kind of fun.
Which makes it so much more annoying.
Right? And it's kind of fun because, you know, like Alex could have like a crush on her at first. Or, you know, Dan could have loved her and that's how he got here. So we could do some fun things with, you know, my aunt being super hot. And maybe she's a cousin.
I was just thinking, if Dan was into her, maybe she should be a cousin.
Maybe she should be a cousin.
I mean, I suppose that she could be a very young aunt.
So I guess I'm thinking about Jim for that reason. I'm thinking about Nico because he was so fun and charismatic in this book. That just makes me want him for my harem. But I don't know.
I've already gone on record that I will never take Nico from you.
I know.
I don't want him.
We won't be here that much longer.
He will come back eventually. Oh my goodness. We won't be gone forever.
I don't know. I'm so nervous. I feel like the character I need to cast is the one I don't like. Because I need someone in that role so that I can just move on. I need my slate filled. And I feel like if I know where they're going, then I can know who we need to run into. And then I can better... Because we're going to have to pick up more people for this road trip. Like if I'm getting a harem, like more people are going to have to come eventually. But I feel like...
How big do you think your harem needs to be?
I personally feel the amount of men I need...
She's about to say something insane. I can just feel it. She's going to say like 12. I need 12 people.
No, the amount of men I need for my harem, I think, is 5.
Okay, that's a totally normal harem size.
Right? But 5 people won't fit comfortably in a car. So, with me. Because that would be 6 people total. So I think the most I can take on the road trip is 4. And we're going to be pretty uncomfortable in the backseat of that car.
Why can't you do something fun like take trains?
That's not a road trip.
What do you mean? That's not a road trip.
It's not a road trip. You have to be in an automobile for it to be a road trip.
Okay, fine.
I feel strongly about that one.
Why can't it just be like a really big vehicle?
I mean, I guess we could rent
maybe
Alex
Dan's
has
really
like a
big
VW
vehicle.
bus.
Alex doesn't have a really big. I don't think he does. But I feel like Dan might have like a big.
Maybe
like,
Dan has a
Escalade.
friend that has a big car.
Okay.
And maybe that friend is Quinn. You see what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
Quinn has a lot of... I feel like what this trip needs is a bankroll. You know?
Yeah. Okay, hold on. He could be one of your like first stops though, because y'all get on the road and you're like, well, this is uncomfortable in this very small car. And then Dan's like, well, I got a friend. Why don't we stop by and see my friend and see if maybe he can like hook us up? And then obviously you get there. I'm just going to write your story for you. Obviously you get there. And Quinn is so enamored. He's like, well, not only am I going to give you my Escalade, I am going to drive the Escalade. I'm driving this car.
No, he's going to be like, Dan, I need you to drive this car while I sit.
Oh. So they're going to argue about who has to drive the car.
Well, see, now that makes me want Quinn.
The
heart wants what the heart wants.
The heart wants what the heart wants. Listen, when are you going?
The heart wants Quinn.
Okay. Who is he? What's his archetype?
Rich man.
I don't think that was on your list.
Well, it should have been. I love a rich man. Okay. When we say best friend, I assume that has to be my best friend.
Yeah.
He is going to be...
Can you hear my cat purring, everyone?
He's going to be the head of town. Moment.
Ooh.
The mayor's just going to be up and leaving that town.
He's just going to go.
He's going to go.
Assistant mayor, you got this. I'm off.
Adventure awaits. So, all right, Quinn, the head of town. He's coming.
Okay. All right.
And he has to be introduced in chapter 4. I feel like this is too early. I think he needs to be introduced in chapter 5.
It's too late.
I can't
Maybe you get him at the end of chapter 4.
Does it count if Dan mentions his name at the end of chapter 4?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Because we're just doing whatever now. I've got multiple characters that have been in my story that have not been cast yet. So
Well, I'm trying to stick closely to the spirit of the game.
I am following the spirit of the game. The spirit of the game was to write a story and cast characters and be a little chaotic in the middle of that.
Okay. So Quinn, my head of town. I'll update where he's coming on our next episode. So now we need our chaos.
Yeah.
Your chaos first?
Yeah, I do chaos first, so I need you to roll for me.
An 8.
Oh, no.
What is it?
Certain death. One of your character archetypes becomes marked for death in your story.
Oh, God.
Oh, no. Who am I going to kill?
Oh.
Okay.
If you kill your wise mentor, that's very hero's journey.
Mm-hmm. But not quite in the spirit of a fun little ghosty romp. Does she become a ghost?
Oh, that could be fun.
Okay, it says that they become marked for death. It doesn't mean that
they
she
don't
has
have to die in this chapter, right? Just eventually they're going to have to die. And I don't actually even think you need to tell us this episode. I think you have to update us next episode.
No.
No?
I don't. I am looking at my options here.
Okay.
I mean, really, for it to be something sort of not fully devastating, it would have to be either the wise mentor or like the overbearing parent who hasn't even shown up in the story yet. But I've already said that I'm a heartless bitch. So like, would the overbearing parent's death even bother me that much?
Right.
I don't know. Okay.
And I don't even think it has to be one of the characters you've cast, though. I think it's your archetype. So you can pick the archetype.
Yeah, I can pick anybody.
And then you just have to be wary when you actually cast that character.
Okay. I have a couple maybes. I'm going to mark those off as marked for death. Maybe. Okay. All right.
Okay. Is it my turn?
It is your turn.
Okay. Oh, I think no chaos for me. 17.
That's no chaos for you.
Oh, perfect. I love that for me. Listen, I'm already having a time. I don't need any chaos. I've got a lot of problems. I've got a harem to deal with. I don't need the chaos.
Do we have in our list of possible archetypes, do we have the bankroll? Is that someone who's even possible?
No.
Yes, we do. We have poor or rich one, like the rich one.
I didn't put that on here.
It's on the official rules.
But I didn't choose it.
Yeah, I know. I was just wondering if
yeah.
that was even a possibility that we have. Well, we've done it. So let's talk about what we've been reading.
Oh, well, this is going to be really short for me because I just finished reading The Big Sleep by Raymond Chandler to record the podcast that we recorded 2 days ago about The Big Sleep by Raymond Chandler. And then I immediately started reading this book, Neanderthal Marries Human. And that's all I've read. So that one of them I loved, and I'll let you guess which one.
It wasn't Rachan. Tune into that episode if you want to hear two people complain the whole time.
Yeah, that one will already be out, so get in there.
I haven't read anything new since we recorded the Rachan episode, which was actually just a couple days ago. The only thing I have read is Neanderthal Marries Human, so here's what I'm reading right now. I am reading, I think I've already talked about For She Is Wrath by Emily Varga. Still working on that one. I'm reading The Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell. I'm actually listening to that one on audiobook, which is something I don't really do very often because to me personally, for me, that doesn't feel like the act of reading to me. I don't care what y'all do. Y'all do what you want. Could not. I'm not part of this debate. But for me, that doesn't feel like reading. But I am listening to that on Spotify, and it's fine. I'm listening to that because you recommended that I listen to The Revenge of the Tipping Point.
Yes.
And I was like, well, I don't know what the tipping point is, so I need to read about the tipping point. So I went back to the first one. It's very strange. It feels a little bit outdated when I think it was written a very long time ago.
Well, because The Revenge of the Tipping Point was like the 20th anniversary. Like it was published at the 20th anniversary of the Tipping Point. So it is very old. Yeah,
where I'm at with the Tipping Point is he has a whole chapter about people who are really good at keeping track of prices. It's a whole chapter. He calls them the maven. I'm like, huh? So the maven is a person who will like keep track of like market prices and they'll remember things like that, and they'll like convince people to tell people what the good deals are and things like that. I'm like, that feels like a very specific type of person, but okay. But I am slowly listening to that.
I thought The Revenge of the Tipping Point was much better, but I understand that you want to read them in order.
I need context. It's my curse.
I don't personally think that there's that much relationship. I'll be excited to hear what you say about whether or not there is a relationship when you finally get there.
It doesn't even matter. Do you know how you are about your spreadsheets?
Yeah, I know.
That is how I am about reading things in order. So I'm just going to need you to let me have this. I am about to start reading Kill the Boy Band by Goldy Moldavsky. Rachel's about to start reading it eventually too. And I am reading Packing for Mars by Mary Roach, which is a science book where she's just writing about people going into space and what it's like. And I'm having a pretty good time with it.
And the book that I was about to start listening to on audiobook is Karen by Kelsey Grammer, which is about, I don't know if you know this about Kelsey Grammer, but his sister was murdered. And so it's about the murder of his sister. So on July 1st, 1975, Kelsey Grammer's younger sister, 18-year-old Karen Grammer, was raped and murdered.
Oh.
In Karen, Kelsey reveals their past, celebrates their youth, mourns her loss, and unearths his struggle for faith and healing in the decades since her death. It sounds pretty heavy, but also pretty interesting. So I did get it from the library. I was on hold, and I just got the audiobook, and he does narrate it. And I always do like it when and like the autobiographies when the author narrates. So it seems pretty sad, but I am also interested. I love Kelsey Grammer. I love Frasier. I don't know if I've ever mentioned that on the show. I know you know it about me, but I love Frasier so much. So I'm very, very interested.
I hesitate to ask because I don't want to ruin anything, but did he turn out to be like a MAGA Republican?
I think he might have Republican lean. I don't know if he's MAGA.
Okay.
I think he might be like a Republican voter. I don't know if he's
MAGA. Because I feel
sometimes it's best to just not look too closely at these people who do the things. I have not. If he is, I don't know because Like, I don't know.
I feel like, and it may not have been him because I do get people's names mixed up all the time, but I feel like there was someone who was Kelsey Grammer-ish that I read about being at a Trump rally.
Oh, that's upsetting.
And I felt the deepest sense of betrayal.
Yeah. I mean, you would. Yeah.
But I don't remember if that was him. So perhaps it would have been best if I had not brought it up.
I'm going to continue to not look into it. If someone comes to me with information, then I guess I can look at it in the face. But until then, until that moment,
I have the wrong person.
Yeah. I will not be Googling. I will not be manufacturing my own suffering.
Not this time. Not with Kelsey.
All right. What is the next Penny Read book that we're reading? I feel like you're about to break my heart. I feel like you're about to tell me that it's outside of Knitting in the City, and I'm going to start crying.
It's not. I don't believe it. I believe the next one is, because I have already bought it. We do have one more, Beauty and the Mustache.
Okay.
I want to say it's Ashley's book.
Uh-huh.
And then after that, we leave Knitting in the City for 3 books. We do a rugby one, which was a collab.
Okay.
And then we do the Elements of Chemistry.
Okay. And she's currently writing in that series right now, right?
Yeah, the third one. She's working on the third one. And then after that, we get into the Winston Brothers. And then we come back to Knitting in the City. And then it's like really mixed up. Like we kind of hit different series.
That'll be fun. Wait, so is Ashley's next or is it Fiona's? Are we reading Happily Ninja after?
No, Beauty and the Mustache.
When
Happily Ever, that comes after Winston, the first Winston Brothers.
Wow, I really had those out of order. We're reading Beauty and the Mustache, huh? Mm-hmm. Okay. I had those so out of order. I don't understand
Canonically, book 4.
Okay. Canonically, book 4. We will be reading Beauty and the Mustache. I hate a mustache, so exciting. Maybe a man I can pass. You know what? I bet there's going to be some good characters down in Tennessee for my road trip, for my magic road trip.
Probably.
Because I think she goes to Tennessee. That's how we get introduced to the Winston brothers.
Like goes back home.
Okay.
We shall see.
All right. And then our next book for murder is Agatha Christie's The Moving Finger.
I have a thing to say about this so fast because I know we've been recording for a million hours. This morning I had a migraine, and I get the sort of migraines where you can't see anything, which was how I knew it was coming because I was trying to read a text from someone and I was like, well, I can't read this. So I must be about to get a migraine. So I didn't want to look at anything. I wanted to just lay down with my eyes closed, but I couldn't sleep. So I wanted to listen to something. I was like, well, we got to read. I'll get a jump on this next Agatha Christie. So I started listening to it on Spotify. And then when I went and picked up the book later, it was completely different. So it was like
weird.
Yeah. And then I was like, maybe it was just that version. So I listened to a different audiobook and it started the same way as the other one, different from the way that the book starts, which was very baffling to me. So I just don't even know.
I wonder. I know, like, a lot of, when I was looking for a book by her, you know, she's not an American author, and a lot of her books had different American titles, so it was really hard to figure out if books were the same or if books were different.
Like, maybe I just have a different edition?
Yeah, or, like, you know, maybe the audio is, like, the British version of this book or something. The UK edition. I don't know what they call it. But I just looked at I think we have the same
this
book.
one was printed in the U.S.
So, because most of her books were republished for the U.S. A lot of them were given different names. And I even wonder if, like, some of the names got switched around for certain books. Because, like, they're not, like, most of the books aren't, like, you know, very specific. Like, they're not Beauty and the Mustache, right? They're, like, vague titles. So, it does make me wonder, but that is disappointing to hear if I wanted to panic listen to the audiobook.
Yeah, I do. I think it is just in the very beginning because the U.S. version, which I guess is what I have, starts off with a little bit of background that is not included. The audiobook jumps right in with the narrator talking about the doctors taking him out of plaster. Oh. Because he had broken his legs or something.
Okay.
Maybe, maybe they thought for the U.S. they needed to give us a little more context because we are famously stupider than everybody else.
And we've been stupid for years.
We've been stupid for years, so we come by it honestly. We do need to sign off, but I think maybe we will just never have one.
Yeah.
We'll just keep making it difficult for ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay, bye, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. If you enjoy, please subscribe to the podcast and also leave us a review.
If you have any questions for us, you can email us at readersoftheLostArtPod@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Blue Sky at ReadersPod and on Instagram and Threads at ReadersOfTheLostArtPod.
If you would like to hear more from us, you can receive our free weekly newsletter by joining our Patreon, Readers of the Lost Art. It will have news, behind-the-scenes content, and our reading books.
We'll see you next time. Be the light.
Hee-haw!